Hunger, desire, and passion. Those are the three factors that drive any business.
Seems to be a fundamental part of life. Can you tell the tree to stop growing?
For me, success today is we're healthy. Money comes and goes because we know a lot of people with lots of money that are not happy. I went into work and I said, listen, I'm going to join the military. My mom didn't want me to join the military. I joined and everyone picked on me in the Navy. It called me terrorist. I come from a civilization. You Americans are babies. You're going to come and talk to us in Iraq about what's right and wrong? Get out of here.
Someone has to have a lowest point in their lives. What was that one?
Divorce is something that I take on very heavily on my heart. I feel like I let my kids down. The likelihood of you getting a divorce in California is higher than staying together with a 54% divorce rate. Marriage is a serious commitment, and you should have many short-term relationships.
Everybody wants to know, why do you love America so much?
Whew.
Chris, welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations on a great show.
So about almost 1 year since we first met, and what a year has been.
It's been very fast moving, and not just for us. The world is moving so much faster today, Naja, than the year 10 years ago was, I think, a lot slower than the year today, and a year 10 years from now is going to be so much faster than the year now.
Yeah. I remember that first interview we did, I literally used whatever I have. It was so much more amateur than what we have here. So thank you for believing in me. And, look what we end up having, the growth, the board full of clients. It's just crazy.
I love it. And congratulations. You deserve it. When I first met you, there was hunger and desire and passion in what you do. And I think those are the three factors that drive any business to scale up, to be known in the community for the quality of work you do. I keep telling you, do the cheaper stuff. You're like, no. I'm going to do high-end, high-quality stuff. Let the younger guys, let the other companies do the cheaper stuff. And I love it. I think, anyone that I know, I keep recommending you because I see the great work that you guys are doing here at Parrot Labs.
Yeah, thank you. So since we started doing content, we talked about so many things. Like the first interview, you mentioned about your journey. Today, I felt that I have a lot of other questions that I want to ask you. A lot of them are a little bit deeper, a little bit more.
I was going to say, shoot. Go ahead. Shooters.
Okay, let's start with you have 5 kids?
I do.
Okay. Between their lives and the life you have been brought on to this world, like your childhood versus their childhood, compare, contrast.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So we've been very blessed and fortunate in different ways. I tell a lot of people I was very fortunate to have a mom that believed in me. My dad died when I was 11. So my mom has always thought the world of me, and she's given me opportunities and the drive to excel and do well in life, and effort equals success, not name brand, not money, none of that stuff equals success. It's effort. Some people are born with talents. Some people are born with different talents. Some people are born with no talents and they have to work extra hard. I have always been an outsider. By removing me from my environment when I was 13 years old, I left Iraq, lived in Jordan, where all the refugees from Iraq was the only legal way to get out of Iraq is through Jordan, and we were hated. Everybody looked at the refugees from Iraq and Jordan like we look at all the refugees from South America that come here, unfortunately, that, hey, you're flooding this small kingdom of Jordan. We don't want you guys here. Go to whatever your next stop is. So we ended up in Lebanon, where I studied in a seminary with my Armenian in Iraq. That's very different than the Armenian in Lebanon. I got picked on all the time, and I'm in a seminary. This is like the headquarters for the Armenian world in Antilyas in Lebanon. Then come to Chicago. You're definitely the outsider from, Iraq, Lebanon, then Chicago. I've always been outside of my environment, and I think that's created this thick skin, this rigor for hardship that bring it on. I take cold showers every day. And I love it when you turn on the shower and the first 30 seconds is super cold. I'm like, it's just another hardship. I love it. Let's bring it on. And sometimes I get in the shower and I think about, you know what? I don't want to do a cold shower. I'm so comfortable. It's nice and cozy. I'm warm. And then I tell myself, what if this is the next problem at work? What if this is the next problem at home? Are you ready for it? Are you going to shy away from it and be scared? So that has molded me into this person that I think makes me as unique as I am. I'm no better. I try to not act better than anybody.
Act humble.
I'm learning to be humble. But I just believe that you are the combination of the experiences that you've had in your life. So then coming to my kids, I try to simulate hardships. My kids got it made. At least we think as parents that, hey, I'm making my kids' life as easy as I can. But they have their own set of hardships. They deal with different set of circumstances, with social media, with friends today are very different than the friends that you and I made when we were growing up in our side of the world. And I think the whole world has changed today. We're talking about a year today is different than a year 10 years ago. Kids today, I want to say they're a lot more sensitive than you and I. When we got picked on, we reacted differently. Bullying was something that existed since Adam and Eve and Abel and Cain. They're two brothers, the sons of Adam. They picked on each other and one of them killed the other. So bullying has been around since God created Adam and Eve. I just think the reaction to bullying has changed because we're softening the generation so much that we're trying to protect them at home, we're trying to protect them at school, we're trying to protect them in work environments. But then when you go out to the unprotected world, the world is a very tough place if you're a soft person. And it comes back to, in the theory of evolution, people that don't believe in God, they say it's not the strongest or the biggest animals that survive evolution. It's the ones that are the most resilient, the most persistent. They keep adapting to the changing environment. So I just wish for my kids and this upcoming generation to be more adaptable, to be able to mold themselves to find and define success in the way they want to define it. Because it doesn't have to be my definition of success. For me, success today is we're healthy, we have our loved ones around us, everybody is doing well and staying safe, and money comes and goes. Because we know a lot of people with lots of money that are not happy, and they're committing suicide, unfortunately, because of mental illness and all of that. So if you're mentally, spiritually, and physically healthy, surrounded by your loved one, I believe that's true wealth and happiness, and that's the gift I want to pass to my kids, kind of like my mom passed to me, of being surrounded by loved ones, being supported by loved ones, no matter what.
Right. And me and you, we come from, you shared Lebanon. You've lived a portion of your life in Lebanon. I hope that the Lebanese people were kind to you.
They were so kind to me. I fell in love with one of them, and I married my childhood sweetheart. And after 20 years of being apart, finally went back and reconnected after she was separated and I was separated, and I'm living the dream. I couldn't be any happier.
If I ask people around you, everybody wants to know, why do you love America so much?
Having been on 6 continents, we just came back from South America. I tell people, based on my limited knowledge of the world and world history, I jokingly said when I was taking a tour in Peru and learning about the Incas and Waris before them, these 1,000-year-old civilization. Growing up in Baghdad, I went to field trips when I was 7, 8, 9 years old to Babylon, to where the Sumerians, the first civilization on Earth that mankind knew, the rules of Hammurabi. We studied in school, in elementary school, in middle school. If you go that far back, Naja, you cannot find another experiment of a democratic republic like the United States, where the foundation of this country was based on God-given, unalienable rights of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Which is why we jokingly said, you can define a civilized nation by the way they treat their worst. Look at how we treat our criminals. Look at how we treat our mentally ill people. Look at how we treat our homeless. Look at how we treat our animals. Just animal rights and advocacy here in the United States it's unmatched. I mean, we went to Japan. Japan is a very sophisticated culture, an ancient culture, and Japanese people are wonderful people. But there are a lot of holes in the government and the way that the system is ran that I don't think it matches what we have here. Now, is it perfect? No, but I think it's the best in the world. I think.
What about Europe?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at France, look at Germany, Spain. We were on the tour again. A Spanish man was saying how unhappy he is with the United States. I said, why? He said, look at what they're doing to NATO, making Europe pay for everything. I go,
shouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. And, we talk about Trump or non-Trump. Forget the names. A lot of people associate Trump with a lot of Trumpness. Forget Trump. Let's talk about the ideas of Trump. The ideas of, if you're the U.S. president, you should put the U.S. interest first. On the way here to record this show with you, I was listening to what's going on with Venezuela. And Venezuela has this, Maduro leader that went and corrupted the system and won the election overwhelmingly, even though 80% of the people don't want him. Look at how America comes to save, like they did in Iraq, like they did in Afghanistan. But then the people involved, the decision makers, ruin it. Because any project you have, like if you wanted to build a school today, you have to have government mandates on how to build the school, who's going to build the school, what kind of licensing, what kind of minimum wage you're going to give. Versus if you and I decide to build a school, we'll do it in 10th the price and half the time than a bureaucracy, whether it's a city or county or the state. It's the same thing in any other government, I believe. And unfortunately, including the United States government, when something is supposed to be done by the government, it's always done in the worst way possible because they have all of these guidelines and protections and parameters for people not to abuse the system, and it makes the system so much bigger. Versus when you bring someone like Donald Trump, who's done a lot of businesses, failed in a lot of businesses, probably screwed a lot of people off because he got screwed by others because it was cutthroat business in real estate in New York. Now you get him doing business as the United States leader. Nobody can keep up with this guy. Mm-hmm. Why would we as Americans not be happy and proud that we have someone who's advocating for the United States? Now listen, nobody's perfect. I tell people when we talk politics that there was only one perfect man and we crucified him 2,025 years ago, and people still celebrate the crucifixion of Jesus Christ because they don't believe that was God. For us, that was everything. You did, the worst thing you could do. But people don't realize that. You don't, and I don't mean to say a verse from the Bible, but Jesus Christ said, a prophet is never known in his own town, right? So when you bring someone from inside and you pick him as your leader, people don't give him the benefit of the doubt until you go outside of your home and get a perspective to come back and see the value of what the United States is doing. We have a living document in this Constitution with multiple amendments in it that adapted to the changing society. And we have things like gay marriage. Now that is a law of the land. Things like abortion, things that define what this nation is. And people speak their minds. And we had an election here in California. We have another election coming. I tell people, if you sit and not vote, you're paying the bills for the people that are voting. Get involved. A lot of people that have the right to vote don't get involved in voting in the United States. And that's very sad because they don't know that's the most valuable element of this government by the people, for the people, is for the people to first be informed. They can be well versed in all the issues that they're voting on and not vote because someone told them to vote. Right. That's why I love this country. I think it gives people like you and I an opportunity that we wouldn't find anywhere else in the world.
The best decision I've made is to come here. But I want to know, did you know all of that before you came, or you were very young at the time? And did you resist? Did you tell your mom, like, why? I just have friends here. Like, why you're taking me to Chicago? Like, did you protest, or you've kind of you've been researching America all along?
Well, the only thing I knew about America is the National Geographic. I used to read the magazines. I love the colors. I love the articles. So when I was in the seminary in Lebanon, that's how I developed my English, is through the National Geographic magazine. I did not want to come to the United States. We came as refugees through the United Nations. But I did not want to come to the United States because I had a great school. I was in the seminary studying to either be a priest or a community leader as a teacher or someone that could give back to the community. And I had a girl that I loved, and she was perfect for me back then, and I wanted to stay with her. So came to the United States against my will because my dad had passed away and I was the man of the house with one sister and my mom. After I came to the United States, in 4 days I started working, and I was very gung-ho on, I come from a civilization, you Americans are babies, 250 years old. Back then we were 230 years old. 225, 230-year-old baby country. You're going to come and talk to us in Iraq about what's right and wrong? Get out of here. And having survived the 91 war on that side of the world, and then having witnessed the 2000, or before 2000, in the 1990s, the civil war aftermath in Lebanon, came to America thinking, this is heaven on earth. Nobody's going to touch this country. So I didn't know how great this country was, and something really shifted in my heart and in my mind on 9/11 in 2001. 9/11, I felt like listen,
a turning point.
I came to this country to live in peace. I didn't want to see all of that, war-torn aftermath and psychological trauma that we lived through. And I wanted to raise my kids in a peaceful place. But then here's 9/11.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to quit my job and join the Navy. And
what was your job before that?
I was a banker. I was working at a bank.
And how old were you when 9/11 happened? Like around?
I was 19 years old.
19 years old.
Yeah, I turned 20 on October of 2001.
I remember that day. I was playing outside. I was a kid. And then I came home and I saw on TV like, oh my God. And it was very traumatizing.
Oh, absolutely. I was off that day. I was playing Gran Turismo all night before, on PlayStation. And I was off that day with my father-in-law, late father-in-law, God bless his soul. And I thought he was watching a movie. I'm like, what is this? He said, no, this is an attack on New York. I was traumatized. Yeah. I didn't know what to think, what to feel. I was sad. Then my sadness turned into anger. Then my anger turned into, I went into work and I said, listen, I'm going to join the military. So I quit my job in November, joined the Navy, and I went to boot camp in February. And my mom hated it. My mom didn't want me to join the military because we ran away from.
Always, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We ran away from joining the military because in Iraq it's mandatory service. It's not voluntary service like in the United States. But I was eager to join, and I joined, and everyone picked on me in the Navy. Called me terrorist, called me all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah, right after that.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you're from Iraq, you lived in Lebanon, and now you're joining the military. You're like the perfect terrorist background.
Right.
And in the beginning, I was so offended. I'm like, I'm willing to give my life for this country. How dare you? And then the next guy that joined and got into the unit would be from Arkansas or Mississippi or Texas, and we'd pick on him. Like, we're picking on everybody. All right, bring it on.
Yeah.
And loved my brothers and sisters in arms. And I was very blessed to do my first tour in 2004 and then changed my job from engineering to cryptology. And, the rest of the story.
Books. Are you a book reader? Do you listen?
I listen to a lot of books on audio, on Audible.
Is there one book that shaped your development early on?
Well, when I was in Lebanon learning French, the book I read that actually impacted my value system is Les Miserables. And Les Miserables has this story about Jean Valjean, this thief that gets trusted to go inside the home of a priest. And nobody else trusted him, so they didn't let him in. And he goes inside the priest's house that has a beautiful young sister, and they trust him to make him dinner, make him a beautiful breakfast. And the next day, he runs away with all their silverware. The two cops catch him and bring him back, and they tell the priest, he stole these. We know they belong to you because they have the crosses and stuff on them, beautiful silverware. And the priest says, he didn't steal them. That was my gift to him. And he bought the soul of Jean Valjean, who then turned around and turned his life around, and he was a great, great person in this story.
Right.
And I thought about that book all my life about no matter how bad someone is, if given the right opportunity, they could be so great. And I've always believed in the greatness of human beings. No matter who you are, even if you're the most evil person to me, you're still great to someone else. And I've always had that good and evil battle. Obviously, our faith teaches us the rules of being good, follow the 10 Commandments kind of thing, versus people that don't follow the rules of being good. But then becoming an attorney and studying, and now one of my favorite books is Mindset. It's a lot of mindset work on what's good and what's bad. Who decides what's good and bad? Who decides what's right and what's wrong? Because every case that goes to court has two sides.
Yeah.
So who's right and who's wrong? Then you bring 12 strangers as jurors to decide the facts of the case. Who's to decide right and wrong? Sometimes you get this side, sometimes you get that side.
And I've always stunned me, this court system here. Because back in Lebanon, you have the judge, he has probably 2 assistants, and they make all the decisions.
That's right. There's a panel of judges. Most of the world is run by that. But we have a jury system in the United States that no other place has a jury system, just like the Electoral College. In America, we have the Electoral College system that's a defense mechanism to protect the United States from ignorant votes.
Wow.
It's very interesting.
You think it's better than other systems?
I think it was better, but today with the knowledge being so available, imagine when the system was designed 200 and something years ago, the average person to learn about what's going on in Washington, D.C., they had to get the newspaper or walk to the library and read a book. And depending on when that book was printed, it may be outdated. With the flow of information today, everything is instant.
Yeah.
You can't censor people. I mean, especially look at what Twitter and Elon Musk did with X. No censorship.
Yeah.
Let it all go, good and bad.
Yeah.
And people are like, why are we allowing bad people on social media? Because bad people are around the corner in your house, on your street. What do you mean, why are you allowing them?
Yeah.
We had rules and laws and regulations about Megan's Law in the United States and in California about not allowing sex offenders to be near parks or schools and senior centers. Well, that was held unconstitutional because San Diego, if you're a sex offender, you can't live anywhere in San Diego other than the multi-million-dollar homes that you couldn't afford. So now sex offenders can live across the street from a schoolyard. It's horrible. So these rules are always changing, and based on the flow of information, I think the Electoral College system is probably outdated today because you can reach anybody and give them information like you do here with moon shooters. You can get this information out. Like I did an interview with the city officials on the freeway corridor. And people say, we hate the freeway corridor coming to Yucaipa because it's going to bring warehouses. They don't understand warehouses is a byproduct of growth, and we don't have the mom and pop shops anymore. We had Walmart and Kmart. I don't know if you remember Kmart. Kmart's closed, so now it's only Walmart and Target that survived the big stores. Then you have Costco and Sam's Club. But those are evolving. Now you have Amazon. Amazon wasn't around 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Where do you think most people are getting their Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping done? It's all done online, so you need the warehouses.
Yes.
People are against and up in arms in warehouses, but then when you go on Facebook, they have Facebook groups. If you're in the freeway corridor Facebook group, these are people that hate the freeway corridor. They don't want growth. They want people to, ride around in horses and buggies all around town like Yucaipa was, with the beautiful orange orchards instead of Chapman Heights. You can't live in that Yucaipa anymore. Yucaipa's changing.
Right.
And we are actually behind the curve of growth. Look at Beaumont's growth. Look at Highlands' growth. Look at Calamasa growing. And Yucaipa is being held back by the few of the people that are old-timers that are yelling and screaming, not in my backyard and get off my lawn.
Yeah. It's so interesting, the concept of growth. It seems to be a fundamental part of life. Like, can you tell the tree to stop growing? It's like by nature, it has to grow. So when people ask me, like, why am I working like day and night on my company? Why do I need to grow? Because the alternative is death. There's no other way. You have to grow.
Well, and not only grow, I think the word should be evolve. You have to evolve and adapt to the changing circumstances. Circumstances have changed significantly. Look at companies like MTV going out of business because they couldn't adapt.
Yeah.
Like, who's watching TV today?
Right.
The world is changing. And again, like we started in the beginning of your segment, the 1 year today is like 10 years, 20 years ago.
Of course, with the advent
evolution.
of AI.
AI robots are coming
Robots
next
are
year.
coming.
We're just talking about my Optimus pre-order.
Oh, you did it?
Not yet. They're working on the pre-orders.
Right.
But the robots are coming next year. You're going to have the version at home. You're going to have a version at work. You're going to have them do everything. I mean, our cars are driving themselves.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine sitting in a car going on a 2-3 hour trip without touching the steering wheel?
I told Diana we need to get a Tesla because it might go and work for us. Like the vision for Musk is that Tesla will go do some Uber lifts and then come back.
Robo-taxis, that's right. Robo-taxis. So instead of having a car sitting at home and at work when you're working 8 hours, get one that's just going to go and work and make you money.
Yeah, it's interesting. Very, very cool. Okay, we talked about books that shaped who you are. Are there people, like key people in your life early on, who really played a big role in your life?
Absolutely. So there's a priest. His name is Father Bartev Gulumian, and he has had the most impact on my life and the life of other hundreds and thousands of kids that grew up through the seminary, and giving us that foundation, the spiritual foundation of talking about right and wrong, moral values, and religious concepts, and competing views of what our faith stands for versus what other faiths stand for. And when people don't believe in God, the love of all people is what our faith of Christianity is based on. Whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not, whether you believe in God or not, Christianity is the faith that teaches you to love your enemy. And that's the biggest impact that I've had in my life as a father figure, especially when I didn't have a dad, is Father Bartev Gulumian, who is now a huge influence in the Armenian community through Faith, Hope, Love Mission, that he does his daily messages on Facebook and Instagram and does the Bible studies. So spiritually, that was one of the biggest impacts in my life. Career-wise, God bless his soul, my late mentor is Judge Bill McVitie. Judge Bill McVitie found me at College of the Desert when I was just going out of the Navy into the Army, trying to get my business degree so I could do security work, because I was one of the few people that had a security clearance and I had access to military technology. So I figured by the time they declassify some of the stuff I had worked on, I'll be able to start a security company. And he changed my trajectory towards the law. So Judge McVitie, Bill McVitie, was a retired judge out of LA County, and he took me under his wing as a young college student, helped me get into law school, and then guided me actually the few years of my practice until he passed away during COVID, unfortunately. So those are the two most influential people, obviously outside of my mom and my sister, who saw me and brought me up and gave me the opportunities, and obviously made me the man I am today.
It's interesting how people play like roles in our lives. It could be very subtle. It could be just like, I believe in you. Like this little signs of, like little words sometimes affect us like a lot. Like, you know?
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that, because some sentences can live with you for the rest of your life, good or bad.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so much higher stakes raising children, because you could say one thing that can change your kid's life to the better, or you could say one thing that could change your kid's life to the worse, because they say, my mom and dad didn't believe in me, or my mom and dad thought the world of me like I do with my mom. I could get away with murder with my mom, and she still think her son is the best thing after, hot cake.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's talk about moments where you felt the most proud. It's like the highest of the highest moments in your career or your life so far.
I think every time I cut the cord on one of my kids being born was like, you're out of this world. the experience of having a child that you bring into this world, and I'm responsible for that human being because I decided to bring them into this world, is an experience that you must have to understand. You can write books about it, you can watch movies about it. It's not the same as cutting the umbilical cord of your child after they're, born. So each one of my 4 kids that were born, and now my bonus child that I have in my life, that I gave her a hug when I first met her and her mom, and I kind of took her into my soul and my heart. Those have been the biggest 5 moments in my life of knowing I'm a father and I'm responsible for another human being's life. But outside of that, obviously my highest level of achievement had to be the night that I found out I passed the California bar exam. They say the California bar exam is one of the most rigorous exams. At least when I took it, they've made it easier today. It's a 2-day exam instead of the 3-day that we took. So 3 days, 8 hours a day exam is a grueling test. And the likelihood of someone like me passing it is closer to 1 than to 10%. Because of my background, there's a lot of cultural biases against someone whose English is a third language. But again, I think that adaptability that I had coming up in life and having served in the military, 2 branches, before I joined and I went to law school, gave me an edge over anybody else. And I passed the bar the first time. And I found out the results when I had 2 kids back then. And then had my 3rd and 4th kid after the bar exam.
And what about when you started your own business? I know you mentioned that you bought your partners out from the previous, and that's how you started Markarian Law Group. But what was there like a triumph moment where, oh, now I have a serious business? Is there like a peak there?
So when I started my career, I got my first job with Dean Hakak. Great friend, awesome mentor, helped me out tremendously, and started out with law offices of Dean Hakak in East LA. And then I made partner with him after he developed a disability and he couldn't work anymore in the legal field, and relied on me heavily and saw my hunger and eagerness to work. And living in Yucaipa, driving all the way to East LA, that was a fun couple of years. And then we moved from East LA to El Monte 2 years later, and then from El Monte to West Covina. So the first 6-7 years of my practice, from 2013 to 2021, I was driving nonstop, thousands of miles a month.
Were there Audible at the time? Or?
I actually listened to a lot of
tapes at the time.
Audio tapes and recordings. But I finally bought the building we're in right now off Yucaipa Boulevard and the freeway in October of 2021. And since October of 2021, it's just been tremendous to be at home, not to have to drive. I still drive, but going to work back and forth 6 miles away from home, it's just been very, very rewarding. And I love working. I love what I do, Naja, and my kids always say that. Like, Dad, you always say you love what you do and you're not working, but we never see you. I'm like, yeah, when you love what you do, it's not work. I love it. You know, even when I go on vacations, it's been my tradition to come from LAX. The first place I go to is my work. First, to thank my team for allowing me to live the lifestyle that I'm living. And second, I love my job. I love being able to help people.
So yeah, I think you have an incredible building. So that must be also a very high moment when you actually signed it, and then that's yours now. So it must be like it's a confirmation that you're on the right track.
And I was very blessed with a big settlement back in 2021. Not only I got the building, but I got my toys, I got my home, and we renovated the house to make it be our home. And that's why I tell people, I think I'm done buying toys. I don't know. We just came back from a dirt bike trip where the kids want the side-by-sides and the four-seater kind of doom buggies. And we have dirt bikes, we have ATVs. So that's next toy maybe on the dirt. But outside of that, I drive my dream car. I live in my dream home. I have my dream job, live with my dream girl. I don't know what else I would want from the world other than, like I said, I just felt completely triumphant, but then humbled. On my Facebook, I have a picture of me on top of the Huayna Picchu mountain where Machu Picchu is under it. And that's the mountain that 10% of the people that visit that place go up to because it's so hard. It's a 3-hour climb. And I was on top of the highest mountain I asked the tour guide, which rock is the highest one? There's one right there. And then there's this one. He goes, that one. I'm like, I'm going up on top of that. And that's when it just so happened that I was wearing a Superman t-shirt and I have my photo up there. And Vire said, if you look at that picture in the background of my profile picture on Facebook, I didn't even realize the clouds behind me are shaped in a way where it looks like a guy with his arms out the way that I have. And it was definitely a spiritual moment for me, not to compare my pilgrimage to Jerusalem, where you're not on this planet when you go to Jerusalem and the Holy Sepulchre Church. But that moment in Machu Picchu and on the top of the Huayna Picchu mountain, there was a moment where I had this epiphany that life is about what you give, not what you take. So I came back a lot more eager. And I think on my post, I said, I really thank God for everything that he's blessed me with. I can't wait to bless others and give as much as I can back for whatever life I have left.
Let's contrast that moment with the lowest point of your life. I know everybody, when they look at you, Chris, they think, oh, this guy is invincible. He's perfect. He has everything figured out. But come on, someone has to have a lowest point in their lives. What was that one?
So there are many low points in my life. Some of them are outside my control. Some are within my control. And I still think I see it as the biggest failure on my part, that I teach my kids not to fall into the same trap. And it's not necessarily divorcing their mom, but it's picking the wrong partner in life. You know, picking the right partner in life can make all the difference. But picking the wrong partner, and it's not that it impacted me any negatively, because Ani, my kid's mom, was very supportive of me going to school and working hard and being in the military, raising the kids while I was gone, but just being two different people. And it's very sad that the likelihood of you getting a divorce in California is higher than staying together with a 54% divorce rate. I feel like I let my kids down by choosing someone that I should have prepared myself. First, to either choose better, or second, to be more qualified to be able to keep their family intact with their mom and dad together and withstand whatever troubles and disagreements that we have in the family. So the lowest point in my life is when I decided this is it. I've tried everything I could try, and it's my shortcoming. It's never the other side, because I take full responsibility for everything that's happening in my life. And the divorce is something that I take on very heavily on my heart, that I wish I had known better when I first chose my partner. Not when I left her, but when I first chose my partner. I have certain things that were non-negotiable. And I built the relationship for 18 years and 4 kids later on, well, we can maybe work on this. Well, maybe we can change this. And I guess my only regret is not having a father figure in my life, even though my mom and my sister said, wait, it's early, you're 17, you can't get engaged at 18 and get married at 20. And I didn't listen. But now I am that, obviously, father for my boys and my girls, where marriage is a serious commitment. And you should have many short-term relationships, so you learn more about yourself, what you can and cannot live with and stand living with for the rest of your life. So when that decision happens, you know you can get behind that decision for the rest of your life, in good and bad, sickness or health, or wealth.
Those vows are serious.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
must be treated serious.
Absolutely. So having been married the second time to the woman I dreamt of all my life, and listen, no relationship is trouble-free. And
true.
I love arguing and fighting, obviously, for a living, but I do it with respect. I do it with love. I do it happily, knowing I'm with the right person. When you struggle with the right person, it's better than you vacation with the wrong person. Is the thing that I've learned in my life. So that's probably the lowest point of my life, is knowing that it's over and I had to do what I could to make it up for the kids and not impact them as negatively as any divorce would impact kids. I don't care who tells you what. No money, no vacations, no toys, no experience will replace for a child a wholesome nucleus family of loving mom and dad, even if they're fighting and arguing, but they're doing it with love and respect and not hatred and I can't wait to get rid of you kind of a household setting.
What about the lowest point in business?
The lowest point in business is got to be when you walk in and you depend on an employee to get something done, and you're going out there partying, knowing that you're in good hands with this employee, and you just get stabbed in the heart. I don't want to say in the back because they don't do it on purpose, but sometimes tasks get overwhelming, or our employees are human beings, at least now, until next year. But our employees have their own life dramas. They have their own character strengths and weaknesses. They have their own mindset issues that they come to work with. And sometimes, if you're not paying attention enough, one of these employees can cost you, not only money-wise, but reputation. If I'm serving you and you trust my firm because of the representation I gave you, and then you go to my business and someone lets you down, that makes me look bad. Yeah. And that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts not because of the vanity of I want to look good, but I have a job where people trust me with their troubles. I'm a master problem solver. That's what lawyers are. And if I convince you, Naja, that trust me, I can solve your problem, and here I am making your problem worse, I'm not delivering on the promise. So it's not about looking good. It's about, I have a promise of excellent service. And when I tell people, I'm not a perfectionist, I just expect everything to be perfect. That's the line of the work that we're in. You can't have a less than perfect representation.
Right.
It gets heavy sometimes on my staff, and the demanding nature of the work, it's very stressful. So it's not cut out for everybody. That's why I tell my employees, the day that this is no longer for you, let me know. And I'll make sure you get the next job wherever you're going to go, and I'll give you a month pay to thank you for, telling me this is not your place.
Yeah. And I thought initially that all lawyers are killing it, as they say, right? All lawyers are making so much money. But then I'm discovering, because I'm working with a lot of lawyers are struggling. So, lawyer as a practiced something and lawyer as a business owner something. So what are some key lessons, let's say 1 or 2 important lessons for lawyers who are business owners at the same time, or they have their own practice?
Like any other job in the world, there are 3 categories of jobs. You could be a blue-collar worker, you could be a white-collar worker, which is management, or you can be an entrepreneur. A lawyer can be all 3. So you can be an employee where I'm paying you $100 an hour or, $50 an hour, depending on your experience, or I'm giving you a salary of $10,000 a month, and that's your pay. I incentivize you to work more if you produce more, but then that's a blue-collar worker. That's a lawyer that exchanges their time for money. Then you have white-collar workers who are the management, project leaders, team leaders. You give them a project, hey, we're going to work on this thing. You complete that, you get this amount of money, or if you do it quicker, if you do it better, you get this incentive bonus
like a
pay.
Freelancer.
That's right. Those are the white-collar attorneys. These are the managing attorneys. These are the supervising attorneys. And then you have the entrepreneurs, the crazies that are willing to take the risk and step out of their comfort zone to do something that most of us don't have business background. When you go to college, university, law school, and graduate, there's zero business unless you have a business degree. And that doesn't mean anything unless you've run a business.
Yeah.
Obviously, education is important, but I think experience is more valuable than education. And you're learning on the job as you go. Running a multi-million-dollar business with, 14, 15 employees today is the biggest thing I've ever done. I don't know what next year is going to bring, which is why I have CEOs, I have CFOs that I hire for a fraction of their time. And I have companies like How to Manage a Small Law Firm that we use. Now we're joining and partnering up with a CEO lawyer, the Ali Awad, a good friend now. We went to Colombia, met him, and how he built his personal injury firm. And we're trying to systemize it and make it more effective, make it more efficient in running this business in a way that it's kind of running itself. Once you have these systems in place and you have these mechanisms with AI, with the technology that we've implemented, we're in a place where running a $500,000 business is different than running $1 million business. And then you get so good at running $1 million business, then now you're at a $2 or $3 million business. Well, it's different running a $3 million business than $1 million business. And the next place you go to $5 or $6 million or $10 million business, it just every stage of growth comes with its own set of problems.
So how would I, as an entrepreneur, should react to these changes? What should I mean?
The way that you react on a roller coaster on the way down, put your hands up and start screaming, let's go, right? No, you gotta take.
But the hunger for learning, I think it's key. And I noticed you, I observed you. You're always learning. You're always finding coaches here. And
absolutely. The more I learn, the more I know how much I don't know. Like I got so many more books to read, so many things to learn. But the answer to your question, Naja, is you have to be flexible. You have to be courageous. Doesn't mean we're not fearful, because I got 14 paychecks to sign every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I got to make sure these people are getting paid. So if the money doesn't come in, who do you think is going to not get a paycheck to themselves, right? I'm the last one that gets paid. So if there's no money in the business, I'm not making any money, and I make sure that my staff is getting paid. But then if they're not making enough money for them to get paid, I got to start letting people go.
And I'm kind of on that part. I'm about to hire my first in-person in California employee, and I'm looking at, like, compared to what I pay for the team outside, I'm like, I mean, it's a tense moment. It's a risk that I'm taking.
Absolutely.
So how should I, like, what do you think? Like,
I think if you do your homework enough to go through the vetting process to bring in the right person that has the passion for what you do, so it's not just the money. Because people can walk in through the money, walk in through the door to your company by money, attracting them with money, but they will stay and grow because of their passion that is aligned with your passion. So if you bring someone here that does not like social media marketing and helping other businesses grow through social media marketing and content creation and development and all of that, they're not going to stay. I don't care how much you pay them. Like, can I pay you $1 million to do something you hate?
No.
It's just, it doesn't work that way. And even if you say yes because you need the $1 million today, 2-3 years later, you'll stop because you hate it. It sucks. Versus, can I pay you something that you can live the life that you want to live, but then feel so fulfilled in what you're doing and passionate about it that you're not going to even care about if you're making money or not. I have employees that tell me, I don't want to name anybody, if you fired me, I'm still going to show up tomorrow and finish the work that I have pending.
Wow.
How do you not love that kind of person, right? Or someone that tells you, hey, if we're not going to make enough money this month, I'll wait for my paycheck. Like, are you kidding me? I love you, but no thanks. I appreciate it. But I have people like that working for me. So I love it. I love that the team has my back. I got their back. They know I got their back. Sometimes we have a crazy client. You get crazy clients sometimes that are always unhappy no matter what you do. What are you going to do? I'm not willing to put my staff through abuse. And I fired $1 million case.
Wow.
I fired the guy, disrespectful to my team. I gave him a couple of warnings. Then I told him to go find another attorney. I'm not going to help him out. Call and cuss my staff. You're never worth it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So there's so much you'll do for money, but not everything.
Right.
So I want people to enjoy what they're doing. And that's the advice I'd give any entrepreneur. Find people that share your passion. Your interview should not be out of desperation for someone to help you. Your interview should be out of abundance. Hey, if you want the job, it's going to be this or this or that. And I'd love for you to be that person, but this is what's going to take for you to get in and to stay and grow. And you want growth mindset people, not fixed mindset people. People that think that I'm born with these skills and talents and I'm going to die with them. I don't want those kind of people on my team. So we're always changing. I mean,
Yeah.
I give them so much hard time because every time I go on a quarterly meeting with how to manage a small law firm, I come back with all this new knowledge. Now we're doing this. This is how we're going to do it more efficiently. This is how we're going to do it better. And we're always changing. So I tell my staff, if you don't like the change, this is not a place for you because we're going to continue growing and continue changing. And to your point, going virtual is something that I've never done, but now we're gearing up through the help of our virtual setup. Chief, my operations manager, is creating this environment where all my current staff can stay at home and work, but we're going across the world and across the country to hire most talented people for a very reasonable rate. Like you said, California minimum wage versus Colombia or Mexico or Nicaragua or Peru. You can hire people for a lot less with very similar, if not better, talents. And they're hungrier to work.
Yes.
People here want a raise so they can get an extra Starbucks.
Yeah.
People want a raise in South America or in Asian countries so they can survive and help their family and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Completely different standards of living.
So my team right now, we have 16 people. So I've had I have some experience to tell about hiring overseas. I'm not saying that all of them are great, obviously, like anywhere else. But yes, I am lucky to found like A players there who are like that attitude to learn and grow, and they want to work hard. They want to prove themselves. So yeah. So
the next key hire for your company should be an HR director, not an employee. You need an HR director. Once you go past 15, you need an HR director. And that's what we're looking for in hiring. Chief has done a tremendous job. Chief is a retired Navy chief, 26 years in the Navy, managed hundreds and thousands of sailors. But managing the civilian world with all the regulations in California with the HR and employment laws, you need an HR specialist.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, not probably. Exactly. Okay, what's next for you? Next 5-10 years?
Next 5-10 years is we're going to grow this firm to a place where we were thinking 10 million, but now we're thinking 25 million in gross revenue. 25 million in gross revenue means you're spending 7 or 8,000 on staff, 7 or 8,000 on overhead. 7 or 8 million. I'm sorry. So a third.
That's cheap.
Yeah, you bring in an $8 million. If you're bringing in $10 million a year, a third of that goes to your overhead, a third goes to payroll, and a third goes to your owner. That gets to reinvest in the business.
Yeah. I learned that from you. Can you repeat that point? It's very important for business owners because I had it in my notes.
Absolutely. So a profit margin is an important aspect of any business. So some businesses have lower profit margins. Some businesses have higher profit margin. You and I are in the service industry. We provide service. I don't sell Coke cans and Snickers bars. If you bought a Snickers bar for 50 cents, you have to sell it for $2 so you can make $1.50 profit. Out of that $1.50 profit, you pay for your overhead, for your staff, and you take your cut. In the service industry, they say for a personal injury law firm at least, a third, so 35%, 30 to 35% of profit is healthy, which is why instead of me investing in a investment deal where I'm getting 10 to 15%, the best investment for me is my business because I make 30 to 35% in profit out of my business. So every $100,000 I put into my business, I should be getting at least 3 to 4 times that in revenue, which is the same on employees. If you're investing in hiring people, it's not a cost. You can't think of someone that's costing you $10,000. You think of your employees as an investment. When you invest $10,000 in an employee, that employee better be bringing in $30,000 to $50,000 in revenue every month. Otherwise, it's not a profitable hire. So when you gross and your gross revenue for the year is $10 million, third is what you're looking at. If I can grow my business to $25 million, then you're looking at $8 million in overhead, $8 million in salaries and payroll, and $8 million for me to reinvest in the business or take home or get the next jet or RV or whatever you decide to do. Yeah. As a business owner, that's how it works.
Reinvest it as well.
Well, that's what I've been doing. Yeah. You know, we bought a $2 million building.
Yeah, exactly.
You reinvested back into the business. Every time I have extra money, I'm hiring another person. So that's why we're at a team of 14, 15 employees here. These are all American hires.
Yes.
And everybody makes, I think, decent money in my firm. Everybody that brings in money, I have a lot of admin. Those are non-money making, but admin is necessary. You need admin. So as you get bigger, that's why I'm saying HR director is an important hire for anyone over 10 or 15 employees. Now, some of my military leadership skills got me as far as I did without an operations manager, without an HR director. But we have fractional CEO and CFO that give us a lot of guidance.
Right.
So we sidestep all the traps that a growing business falls into.
And given that, I produce all of your shows, so I've heard you speak about your next chapter in a way that you said that I want to let this firm run itself and I focus on giving back. How does that look like to you?
Well, at age 50, I have set that as my personal goal. At age 50 is when I'll go back in public service.
Okay.
So whether it's city council, assembly, Congress, or getting on a bench as a federal judge, or just serving through the Rotary Club that we're members of, or even BNI. I consider BNI, even though it's a business referral networking organization, I consider BNI as a community service organization, because we're growing our businesses and helping other businesses grow through helping the community finding reliable, trustworthy, licensed, bonded tradesmen or women or professionals that we can trust and know them and like them, and we can hold them accountable to those services. So BNI, Rotary are two big things that I'm involved in. I'm involved with the foundation of Crafton Hills College. I love Crafton Hills. I think it's the Harvard of the Inland Empire. They provide wonderful services and opportunities for education that all my kids want to go to Crafton, which I'm a big supporter and believer in Crafton. Even high school students that can do dual enrollment from Yucaipa High School or Redlands High School locally, they can get college credit towards their high school and associate's degree while they're in high school. It's incredible.
It's crazy how you find enjoyment and pleasure in giving. And we are in a society where everyone is like money, like they're worshiping money, and you're giving away money. So help us understand, what is the pleasure in giving?
I think it has to be spiritual. It has to be spiritual because in our faith, you're supposed to tithe 10% of what you make. So I always look at, I know we do it as a marketing to grow our business, but there's an element of giving that can be given without the notoriety. And, we give to the Spartans soccer club. Everybody runs around with Markarian Law Group jerseys on. That's different giving than giving to the Rotary without any credit to the name or any of that. Obviously, we live in a society that encourages giving. You get a tax deduction when you give and donate money. There are many benefits to giving for the good reasons. And I think that has to be one of the ingredients that has blessed us. When people see that we are in this game to really give back to the community and really help people, people keep coming. And more people keep coming, which is why when I started my practice, I was helping 5 to 10 clients a month. And in October of 2025, we had the highest month ever, where we had 37 clients sign up to be helped with Markarian Law Group, and as a result of the accidents they were involved in. So, and 30 to 40 cases a month is a good place to be with the staff that I have now. But anything more than that, I got to start hiring more people. And I'm always hiring ahead. So I'm not hiring for where I am today. I'm hiring for the 6 months, 12 months from today, and preparing for that growth and anticipation of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're explaining the returns on investment when you give for the business, but I feel like you're also doing it because you enjoy it. Like it doesn't feel that you're doing everything you're doing with an actual return right across the corner. I mean, take the soccer club. As your marketing guy, I recommended against it, because if you invest that much somewhere else, you get better returns, but you still do it. So there's something beyond that. I feel like you're natural, like you like to see people happy or something.
I think there's a calling. especially when people are in need or an organization that needs help. There's a lot of great organizations, a lot of people that do good work that don't shine the way that I shine because I'm a loudmouth, big, bold guy and I have my face plastered everywhere. So if I can get involved with the Rotary Club, if I can get involved with the Spartans Club and make a difference to bring that organization to do its mission, which is give back and community service and developing children and teaching them life skills through competitive soccer, I love those opportunities. I look forward to them, even if it doesn't bring anything back. But it does. A lot of people through soccer know me, and I get a lot of people that get involved in accidents, and families from soccer families refer them to me, and it pays multiple times that small investments that we make into the club.
Yeah. Last question. So I can ask you in two ways. The first one is that, which I stole from John Heaton. If your life was a movie, how would you like it to end? I have another one, which is, what is your moonshot? So they're both kind of the same thing, but feel free to answer whichever.
So I think you're asking about what do you want your legacy to be?
Yes.
And it's funny you ask that because there's an exercise we've done of you write your obituary today. What would that look like? I just want to make sure that I have equipped the world to do the best they can do without Chris in it. Starting with my wife, I want to make sure she's strong and happy and thriving after I'm gone. My kids, definitely, I want them to be doing well, healthy, good lives. Whatever their happiness is what I want. My mom, my sister, obviously, I wish everybody to outlive me. But given what I do, anybody's life can end any minute.
Yeah.
So I want my legacy to be, I was the guy that made sure everybody's ready to live the life that they wanted to live to the fullest. And I think that would have been a mission accomplished, life well lived for me.
Great. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity as always, Naj. Appreciate it.